Alright, so I'm doing my presentation on student athletes because I feel like a lot of people don't understand our lifestyle and think things that aren't necessarily true. So just for starters, like, what do you guys think about student athletes? It could be negative, it won't hurt my feelings, like whatever you think.
You guys are
Anybody?
tall.
What'd you say?
You guys are tall. You're one of you guys.
Yeah.
The only other footwear you own are sandals.
Thanks, I guess. Anything else?
Yeah, I wear your uniform like every day, pretty much.
Does anybody think it's like unfair that we get our tuition paid for?
Not really.
Yeah,
A lot of people here get their tuition paid for.
Okay, so typical assumptions that we come across is everything, like we get everything because we're athletes. Everything's easier, not here at NJIT, but at bigger schools like University of North Carolina. Like I'm sure you guys have heard of like scandals where teachers like pass athletes because they're athletes, and that's not the case per se.
Yeah, fake curriculums like at University of North Carolina, they actually had separate fake curriculums.
Yeah, but that isn't the case here at NJIT. The truth is, like, we don't have a lot of freedom. So like where you guys are like debating on either like studying for a test or going out to a party, like we don't really have that option. It's like you need your sleep in order to get up to practice the next day. We're always on a schedule. So like, for example, this morning I was up at 5:50 to go to practice. I just got from practice just to come here. I didn't eat. We don't get winter breaks. We don't get spring breaks. And summer is half, so like we have to be here at NJIT for half the summer. Our social life is limited. Like I said, like you give up something, like I'm not sure if you guys have taken economics, but it's like your opportunity cost, so you kind of give that up playing basketball. Me personally, I don't get to see my family that often. I'm from Maryland, and I see them whenever they can come up for a game, where I'm sure like most of you, if you're not international, like you guys probably live in New Jersey, and home is convenient. And of course, sleep, you need your sleep, and that always trumps things, being an athlete. I'm gonna show you guys a video of like something that's like super relatable here. It's not, it's a clip about Howard University and how their athletes handle it.
My name is Kyle Riley, Indianapolis, Indiana. I play basketball. To be a student athlete is to be prioritized, to be hardworking, and to be efficient.
Imagine having a job in addition to school. Whoever has a job on top of their schoolwork can equate it with being an athlete and going to school at the same time.
It's more of a full-time job as opposed to a privilege. There's different aspects. We work out about 3 times a day. And 4, Howard has a swimming class, so a lot of my teammates actually have the 4 workouts a day. And then you add study hall, and you have to take a certain amount of credits, and you have to get a certain GPA, I think it's 2.0, just to be able to be eligible.
It's something that not everybody can do, and it's only a select few that can probably make it through being a student athlete in college. We're doing everything that a regular student does, which is keeping up your grades, maintaining a certain GPA, and being respectful in the classroom, all the things that a regular student has to do. But then on top of that, we also have to maintain our physical features or anything that pertains to being on the field or in the courts or whatever you do.
Okay, so that was just a clip about like how we have to manage our time, and I don't know if you heard, but the girl said that anybody who has like a full-time job and balances school, it's so true. Like, we don't get off days, like, I can't call in sick, like, you have no excuse not to attend like practices or games. So, I just wanted to show you a clip on that, and then I have another one.
Well, as a football player, training for me isn't easy, of course. You get out what you put in. So it's something like, let's say Monday, we're waking up at 5:30, we have running from 6 to 7.
I wake up at 5 a.m., about 5:10, kind of cut it close.
Wake up. Sometimes we have morning workouts.
And then I usually have class at 10.
Get something to eat in between.
I go back to the second class.
Go back to class.
And then after that, you have a mandatory workout.
Then I go work out with Coach D.
Hopefully take a shower somewhere in between there.
And we might have practice in the afternoon or evening.
Hopefully eat somewhere in between there too, but I can't guarantee that.
We have practice at night, and we have to leave at 8:30. We don't usually get back until about 11:30.
And then Saturdays we practice at 7 a.m. instead of 6. So.
Here at NJIT, what a typical day looks like for myself, it would be like practice. Like today we had practice at 7, so you're up an hour, at least an hour before practice to get something to eat. You get tape. After that, like today I have 4 classes, so I have to find time to get a meal in, and then I'm gonna repeat that again tomorrow. So it's not as sweet as people make it out to be, I would say. Yeah, so as I was saying, NJIT is like fair and square. Most of the time I try not to tell my professors that I'm an athlete because they discriminate from my experience. Like, they don't really like us, so I wait until like maybe the 3rd week of school to tell them like, hey, I'm on the basketball team, because I don't want them to automatically assume like we aren't good students just because we are athletes. Regular student benefits, like you guys have exposure, and what I mean by that is you guys have time to commit to internships and like jobs and stuff like that, and if I were to try to do that, I don't think I would be alive, because that would be really hard to do on top of school and everything else. Of course you have time, you get to dictate when you go to sleep, when you wake up, when you eat. Like, we don't get to dictate those things. And then your freedom, of course, like you get to go out if you decide to go out because it's a Monday. Like, I don't have that choice per se. So I wanted to say, like, it's really beneficial for kids if you were to put them into athletics, because so what you do in order to get like recruited for college, you normally are put into AAU, which is a basketball thing, or club sports, and so you get exposure through those things, and therefore college coaches will reach out to you at exposure tournaments, and that's how like the whole recruiting thing happens, and then they offer you a scholarship, hopefully. And so I did some research, and putting your like child on a club sport, it only costs like your family $1,500 to $4,000 a year. And if you were to do the math, like let's say you put them in sports in 3rd grade and you spent that amount of money, you would only equate to like $40,000 a year, compared to like if I were to be like a regular student and I'd be possibly paying almost $40,000 like a semester, depending on what university you chose to go to. So in my opinion, I think it's like I want to have my kids in sports so I can reap the benefits of not like having to pay for their school. And according to the College Board, the average cost of tuition for 2013-14 was $30,000 at private colleges and almost $9,000 for state residents. So, and $22,000 for out-of-state residents. So, I don't know. From my presentation, I just want you guys to understand, like, one, it's a privilege to be a student athlete, but at the same time, it's not as easy as people make it out to be. And also, I would highly recommend you putting your like kids into athletics because you can save a lot of money. And that's my presentation.